Welcome to this week's episode on Mental Wellness Insights, bringing sunlight into mental health. In this episode, we discuss mental health in the workplace. What causes mental health challenges at the workplace? How do we recognize that an employee is developing mental health challenges? How do we mitigate against the challenges? What is the effect of mental health challenges on the overall productivity of an organization? For this and much more, listen to the rich insights as articulated by our guest, Eve Mutio. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, share, and click on the notification bell. Blessings. Welcome to the session, Eve. We will start by you introducing yourself.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, first of all, Pam, for having me on this talk. So my name is Eve Mutio, and I'm a people and culture expert. I love people because I believe they're the ones who drive the business, and they're the ones who actually make the world be the safe place that we are in. I run an organization called Infinite People and Culture Solutions, where we offer customized solutions for organization and for individuals. And we are also very, very passionate about mental health, and especially looking at it from a holistic perspective when it comes to well-being.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Today's session, we want to speak about mental health at the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start by asking what really causes mental health in the workplace.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. Pam, thank you so much for that question. Mental health has various root causes. The mental health breakdowns has various root causes at the workplace. What are actually the root causes when you look at an organization? Yeah. Number one can be the environment. What kind of a culture is in that environment? Yeah. Do you have a supportive culture, or do you have a culture where there's a lot of pecking order, where you'll hear people come up with statements like it's a very toxic workplace. So one, that's a root cause that can actually push people in terms of the environment. And we're looking at even the leadership. What kind of a leadership do you have in an organization? If you have an organization whereby there's no supportive leadership, there's no open communication, then that can actually push people into mental health. Then we have mental health challenges in organization. The other challenge also in the workplace that also is a major root cause of mental health is work-related stress. Like for instance, when we talk about work-related stress, is that your team is overworking to an extent they even suffer burnout. We don't have time to reflect. You don't have time to actually checking in with yourself. So it's always a rat race. So that's why you hear people are saying that they have been burned out, and that's why I actually always ask. I always sit down and I ask myself that there was a reason why the Employment Act provided for leave days, and for that is for people to go and recoup and rejuvenate so that they can come back and feel more fresh, and so many other reasons from the workplace. Others can be an aspect of, for instance, there's not an aspect of inclusion or diversity, or an aspect of discrimination. People feel that the culture that is there, that there's no supportive, or there's a lot of people being favored, or we have a lot of unfairness. People can actually feel really, really that can actually set them in terms of them having mental health challenges, or an aspect to do with a challenge in terms of their bodies, and they cannot go more. And that's why you hear, I've worked with people where they told me, I had to leave this organization. I didn't even have a job, but I think I could not stick in that environment because I was not in the right frame of mind. And it is actually endless.
What about relationships at the workplace? Relationship between employees and employer, or employee and employee, can it bring conflict?
Yes, relationship. I think when it comes to relationship, I think also we need to understand what we are talking about. How do you mean the relationship? Is it a professional relationship, or do you mean romantic relationships at work?
Romantic relationships.
Yes, this one can actually can be a major root cause, especially if if it's a relationship that has gone sour and now you have to work with that person, and then again you find yourself now, for instance, assuming you're working with a senior person who you are a direct line manager and the relationship has gone sour, then what happens, it becomes like now it's a witch hunt match, and now that could actually create a very volatile and a very toxic workplace whereby it can actually cause someone to actually be sick mentally.
Authoritarianism.
Yes, things to do with authoritarianism, and that's why leaders need to be really be very critical when it comes to continuous developing of themselves and understanding how they are. And I think just dissecting another book called Surrounded by Idiots, and it's about a book about on personalities, and it was leaders who have not. It was about the personality of people, and if you are a leader or you are an employee who don't understand your personality, and then you conflict with other people, then there's always continuous conflict. Then we have a very funny workplace to work in. So when leaders have no self-awareness from themselves, when we have places whereby it's every man for himself and God for us all, everyone is always looking at their back, then it also can actually push employees into, or even individual working there, into mental health challenges.
Also, maybe lack of clarity on job roles.
Yes, lack
job
of
description.
Exactly. Because in one of the things, when you look at the clarity, when expectations are not clear, then it means that employees are shooting in the dark, or any person who's working on a particular role, they are shooting. They don't have clarity in terms of what is their expectation and what is their outcome. I think it's very, very good that you've mentioned that. Like that lack of clarity can really, really send people into a place whereby they really get stressed. Yes.
Do we have a lot of instances of bullying at workplace?
Yes, there is, and there are very many. When you look at, they are. However, it's the responsibility of organization to have policies and procedures to actually take care of that. And I'm talking about bullying, sexual harassment. You have clear standard operating procedure how to report it and how it's taken care of. So we have, and what is the policy? What does those policies say? And what is their non-negotiable when it comes to these policies? So there is, but organizations have found a way to come up with policies that actually take care of that, and how even the reporting, even we have to an aspect where we talk about a lot of safeguarding. So they are there in terms of but it's up to organization to take mitigation risk in order to avoid that.
Yes. So what is coming out is the importance of organizations having clear policies.
Yes, and standard operating procedures on how to even report some of these cases.
I've also heard of cases of unfair promotions, discriminations.
It's the same, and that's why when you have they are there. The discriminations are actually there, and as again, it's about an organization looking at it from an angle of policies again and standard operating procedures and what is in place. Because otherwise, when you have those unfair promotions, then in the process, the message you're sending to even other staff is that I don't really need to work very hard. It's not based on meritocracy. It's based on a lot of unfairness and no guiding principles around it. So it creates a feeling of employees feeling not like they are supposed to be in that part of that organization. So that is actually there. And others also, but also I'd like to be a bit controversial when you look at also that in terms of unfair promotion. Also, it's also up to you as an individual when you're working for an organization to be able to understand that there are various currencies that you have to have in hand for you to get to that level, because just performance will not get you from one level to another. It also matters that how well have you managed to build relationships with other people in the organization, because most of the decisions here about those promotions will be made in your absence. How well have you performed at work? How well, like, it's a very thin line, but also when you have policies in place and you've managed to build a very close relationship with people around you who really speak to why you to what you do in an organization, it's very, very crucial.
Yes, and this also speaks on recruitment policies as well.
Yes,
because there are organizations and mostly public organizations where recruitment doesn't really depend on skills. Probably a lot depends on who you know, relationship.
Yes, relationships are very good, but again, that is a subject I'll not want to be quoted saying that, because I can tell you for a fact, the most organizations I have found myself working for is, it's been based on merit. But anyway, that said and done, that doesn't say that you should not build relationship. It's good to have your network. It's good to have people who can speak for you. It's good to have, however, there's also the other side. What are you doing? There's also the bigger portion of it, because it's a very thin line, I'd say that. Yes.
But I've also read that the bigger percentage of mental health challenges in organizations is as a result of excessive workload.
Yes, and that's
how we deal with this.
Wow, thank you so much. I think when we were starting this conversation, the beginning of this conversation, I mentioned that we also did a research whereby we found out that we were doing a research for over around 200 senior executives, and they actually mentioned that out of their 200 executives, 150 said that they have suffered from work-related stress and in terms of overload. Yes, that's true. And that's what I was talking about, burnout. And for you to deal with that kind of thing, you need to really create a very clear work design for the organization, so that work is fairly distributed, so that you don't have people who are underworking and others are overworking. Then you also have to have a clear work design whereby people have time to recoup and people have time to reflect, so that they can also go back inside. Otherwise, when you're always in a rat race outside, you don't go back in. That also affects other areas of your life. You can imagine if workload, you have been overloaded at work, then it means your family is also suffering. It means that there are areas of your life that are actually in balance, because every one area of your life if it's affected, then it has a ripple effect on all the other areas of your life. I'm talking about the spiritual life, your social life, your financial life, your relationship life. It's very, very holistic when you look at it. So it's very crucial to now going back to having a work design that is very, very, very workable and very practical, so that you don't find yourself as employees, as I said earlier, others have been underworked and others have been overworked. Then what happens is a burnout, and also your talent suffers in the process. Yes.
Yeah, you have mentioned something I was going to bring out, that all these challenges at workplace, they often escalate to the home.
Yes.
So they bring also challenges in the home.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
True. I think it's very true. It brings. I've had there's a one person I was working with who was really, his career was very, very okay. Were coming to the office 6, leaves at midnight, but his family was actually suffering. And it actually led that person to a divorce. Yes, so it actually, and also you find out that by the time you're overworking so much, you are bringing up kids, and by the time you're aware of it, your kids have already grown up. and you are not there to give them that support system and psychological safety that is required when it comes to parenting. Yes.
What would you say about being so committed, so much so that you even take work home?
Again, that's an interesting one. It seems that you don't have any other life. Your life is just work, office, and also it also depends. Yeah, it's just work, office. It means that there's an imbalance, and that's why it's important to have a balance in both your work life and your social life, and also your family life. Yeah. So what I'd say is that probably there are things that you have not considered that those other aspects of your life are not important. Yes.
Probably you're running so much after promotion until you forget about other things in your life.
You forget that there's more to life other than just work, and that's very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Now, how would we recognize that an employee is developing mental health issues at work?
Well, I look at it from a macro level and then a micro level. When it comes to mental health or things to do with wellness challenges, the absence of it, you see, this is something that is inward, and you're not going to wait. That's why you see by the time someone has gone to the hospital, that has been things have been thrown under the carpet, that the carpet is already full. They can't do it anymore. Yeah. And I'll give an example about myself, because there are things I really found myself on. I was hammering, and there was like, you just put on the. By the time I was finding myself taking myself to the hospital. It meant that now I was kaput. It was a burnout aspect, and I couldn't take it anymore, that I had to see an expert. However, there are various early signs that you can, even leaders or even people can recognize that sometimes there's an aspect of someone not concentrating well to work. If someone was doing very, very well and all of a sudden their performance has actually deteriorated, as opposed to the first thing calling them for a disciplinary or performance improvement plan, get to understand the root cause. What exactly is happening? And why am I saying that? I had one staff I was working with some time back who was a very, very good. He was actually a logistics person who was very hands-on, was very coin in terms of work. And what happened with that employee at some point, I think there's one time that they had an accident. It's something that has never happened before. He had gone with the office vehicle, which was against the law. However, I had to find out what was happening. This guy, I found out that the wife was they were actually filing for a divorce, and he was trying to beg his wife not to leave him. So he had even taken away their children. So what was happening is that he could drive from work, then drive to where the wife had the soon-to-be ex-wife, who happened not to be the ex-wife. Now they actually made peace and meet together. Was going through by both places. So when I got to the root cause, I had to go back and become human and understand what exactly was happening under the knee. So has performance decreased? Has performance deteriorated when someone was very, very good? The other thing that also you can also recognize is the aspect of absenteeism. Absenteeism is someone calling in sick. Is someone, even when you know probably they're not, but they just need to just have a freak out of the office. Then it means that there's something happening, and it's up to you to reach out to them, because this is not something you're going to see that is very, very evident. It's very inward, and it's up to you to be very, very intentional when it comes to that. Yes.
And probably, what do you think prevents somebody from coming out and speaking out to the employer that, no, I feel like I am losing it?
One is, like, I still feel we are still in that stage, but I'm hoping that in the next few years it's going to be normalized. Because you will look at for every 10 people, I think 8 people have gone through something like that.
Yeah.
So that's a very big percentage. I mean, you're anxious about something,
Mm.
or whatever about something. So there's also the stigma that surrounds it.
Stigma.
Yeah, there's a lot of stigma
Yeah.
that around it, because
True.
the moment the name mental health is mentioned, everyone thinks like this is a Madari case.
Yeah.
So there's a stigma around it. So it's important to, and I think you might ask me that question, but let me just take the liberty to answer it.
Mm.
So it's about now organization look at it. It's normalized. It's an illness like any other that also requires attention, and it has a very bigger ripple effect when you look at it. The other reason that actually also stops employees from coming out when it comes around, it's about them probably the fear of losing their jobs. The fear of losing their jobs is one thing.
Yeah. Mm.
So someone, if they say, "Oh my God, I wasn't well," or probably I've been diagnosed with anxiety disorder, then how will people look at it? Maybe I might lose their job. So how can now organization need to be sensitized about, we have people even with some of these disorders, they have probably been born with maybe ADHD, anxiety disorder, bipolar. And when they look at those angles of that, there's a way they can be sensitized on how to have that awareness and how they can leverage on those skills from those people. Because ADHD is that you find yourself, you're concentrating on things that really don't matter. What if that is turned, and I'll say this with an aspect, I don't have the liberty of, I'm not a psychiatrist, it's just on the knowledge that I have seen, is that you can actually use that to your advantage, so that you can, for that awareness. Then the other thing also that causes employees not to come out is the lack of support. There's no that holistic support when you look at it. And that's why I was telling you, when you're looking at the workshop we'll be having, is we need to have well-being strategies for organization that are integrated with the organization strategy, so that even organization can understand why do we have this in place, and it should be aligned on why an organization exists. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the last one, I think they're coming as I am wanting to wind up. The last one is taking a reactive approach. When we, for instance, let me give an example. An organization has gone through a very drastic change. For instance, we have had employees losing their jobs. We've had maybe there's been a mergers and an acquisition where organizations are merging, and now some positions have been declared redundant. There is no psychological safety that they provide as psychological safety on exit programs. Like, for instance, you call a psychiatrist, a counselor to come and speak to people. When you only that you need to find out that time you are trying to tell someone that they've lost their job, and you're telling them, you're trying to talk to them when you're trying to talk to them when already things are already hot. So someone is not in the right frame of mind and will not listen to such things.
Yeah.
So it's now having a plan prior to see that. That's why we go back. So organizations should have a plan prior, which can actually help employees, that even can set them for future circumstances. In case, for instance, you have a strategy that has actually focused on the objective of how aware are you about your health, how aware are you, do you take exercise very, very seriously, do you reflect, what kind of spiritual practice do you have. Then probably they have other objective in terms of financial. They have mitigation in place in terms of training their staff on terms of financial management, because it's a serious root cause when it comes to mental health challenges.
Yeah, it is. Mental health in the workplace is becoming a serious issue. We're having a lot of people committing suicide.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of substance abuse, alcoholism.
Yes.
And this is because there are lots of stresses in this society.
Yes.
So how do we mitigate against these challenges, and especially at the workplace?
There's challenges about, maybe you can repeat your question?
The rampant emergence of issues like suicide, like alcohol abuse, substance abuse, because of stresses of life that is connected to the workplace, the work environment, probably even financial challenges. How do we then, as employers, mitigate against such challenges?
Again, it's having plan. I'll go back to what I said. It's having very robust plans that can take care of this. So sensitizing staff about these things, having a clear plan, and I'm talking about having a clear plan, like a very robust mitigation plan on various aspects when it comes to the strategy of the organization, aligning to the well-being of the staff. And it will focus on all the pillars. It will focus on financial health. It will focus on the environmental health. It will focus on very many aspects that will actually be, the organization will be gaining a lot from a proactive approach. Then another way is also gain more from your service providers, and I talk about the insurance companies. Like just providing for you the bare minimum of the medical cover will not cut it for organizations. Organizations have to engage service providers, and I'm talking about insurance company and even their service provider that have a comparative advantage that will add value to the well-being of the staff. Like for instance, what else is the medical cover giving you? Are they providing training programs? Do they have custom-made wellness programs for each and every employee based on their needs and based on the factors influencing a certain position? So it's now going beyond and requiring for more from service provider, and also having a plan internally as an organization where everybody is on board to ensure that we build healthy organizations. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, what is the overall effect, generally? What is the overall effect of mental health challenges in productivity of a company?
There's a lot. And I think this is something, I don't know why even you called me for this talk, because I can talk until tomorrow, but I can we're almost done. Yeah. So, first, one of the things, it has an impact and a very bad impact on the bottom line, on your profits. Because it means when people are not productive, it means people are not efficient at work, it means that they are not working, and what all you have are costs in the business. Number two, there's a very, 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 very high risk of losing talent. Talent doesn't want to work for an organization that doesn't care about their well-being. And if you want to achieve your business objective as an organization, is to ensure that you hire the right talent. And if that talent is not taken care of, and I mean from a well-being perspective, they will leave because they have a choice to work wherever they want to work. The other whatever is also your cost in terms of the medical benefits become very, very high, because there's no ROI, there's no normal ROI. The ROI is very, very low when you look at the medical covers they are paying for. If yet you had invested from a proactive approach as an organization, you would have gotten a higher ROI, because this insurance company would have educated your staff, would have robust programs that would have actually made work easier and even improved whatever. The other thing is also the other impact, or rather the other effects of such places is then your brand. What is the brand of the organization?
Yes.
I mean, people just know you as an organization that doesn't take care of people. Then your brand equity is lost, and then what happens? Nobody wants to be hired by you. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. We have learned a lot from this conversation.
Yes.
Now, before we sign off, maybe you'll tell us more about you say you're going to have a conference?
Yes.
On 25th of November?
Yes.
Can you tell us more about it?
Wow, the 25th of November is, we are going to be having a workshop called Transitioning from Employee Wellbeing to Healthy Organizations. We are targeting senior leaders to attend that workshop, where we are going to be having a conversation in looking at building healthy organization and looking at all the approaches and looking very holistically. And I'm and I'm talking about aligning a well-being, aligning the well-being, aligning the well-being and resilience strategy with the organization strategy so that we enhance business continuity. Number 2, we are going to be looking at what more can we get from our service provider. Number 3, what does it mean to be financially healthy, and what is the financial literacy, and how do you avoid places where you can actually find yourself in a meltdown because you don't have the right tools in terms of managing your finances, and also understanding the organization financials from a leader's perspective, and you educate your staff in terms of that. So it's going to be a loaded conversation where we are targeting leaders, where we are targeting leaders who want to transition from employee well-being to healthy organizations in order to ensure business continuity, because healthy organization is no longer a nice to have, it's a business imperative. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The workshop or the summit, the workshop is going to take place at the Heron Portico Hotel along Milimani Road. The charges are 7,500 between now and the 15th. After that, it will be 10,500.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your very, very rich insights on this very important matter. And so, do you have any parting shot, anything that you'd want to say before we leave?
So my parting shot is, thank you first of all so much, Pamela, for having me on this. This is a conversation that is very, very close to my heart. And wellness and well-being is what makes us whole. Looking at all the circle of life, your mental, your spiritual, your work life, your relationship in terms of family, your financial, your environment, that actually make the person who you are. And when we have that aspect, one of them having an imbalance, then it affects all the other areas of your life. It is very, very crucial that you all understand that. Yeah, a parting shot. And let's make our wellness our topmost priority, because you can never offer what you don't have. You can't give from an empty cup. Yes. Exactly.
Mental wellness should be the topmost priority.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Eve. It was nice having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
What kind of a relationship do you have with your service providers? Do you have a transactional relationship, or do you have a value-based relationship? Research has actually shown that organizations that employ a proactive or a preventive approach when engaging with their service providers, and I'm talking about your insurance companies, your pension scheme, your learning and development consultants, the return on investment is 1.4.
Benefits are far-reaching beyond the aspects of collaboration and teamwork. There is a sense of purpose and meaning that is brought about within healthy organizations that have purposely looked at all the perspectives that generate employee engagement on matters of healthy organization.
Waiting in a storm. Post-COVID-19, many organizations have gone through very difficult times. And so it's extremely important to make sure that you have a robust risk mitigation plan, you have a robust future-proofing plan that ensures that there's actually going to be business continuity.
The employee well-being will give results to a healthy organization. Now, the employee well-being speaks to their mental health, speaks to their psychological safety. It speaks to them feeling safe, feeling protected, feeling respected and supported.
Investment in employee well-being has a higher ROI, return on investment. This is because it leads to higher employee and customer net promoter scores.
We now realize that wellness is the key factor, that if one of us is not well, if the organization is not well, the factors and the issues that we see, from high turnovers to people calling you at that workplace affect the business and the customers and everything that you do for that particular organization.
So it's due time now for us to really rethink where our focus is and really move into creating healthy cultures that definitely caters for each and every level of individual within your engagement, within your business, within your company. And this is the reason why you need to be part of this conversation come 25th of November. See you there.
Thank you for watching this episode of Mental Wellness Insights. We would love to hear your comments regarding mental health at the workplace. Please remember to subscribe to this channel. Like, comment, share, and click on the notification bell. God bless.